Good morning, golfers. I'm TJ Valvo, PGA Director of Instruction at Old Hickory Golf Club located in St. Peters, Missouri. Today you're going to learn how to swing the golf club. Let's get started. The first thing I like to do is educate my students. I educate them on my swing philosophy, which is broken into three parts. Okay, the first part is physics, the second part is the definition of the word swing, and the third part is the human body, what creates it to move, and how it moves. The first part is physics. If I have an object A and I want to move object B in a direction, I have to move object A in that direction. And then at one point, both objects are moving the same direction. That's how the physics part applies to our golf swing. The definition of the word swing, Webster's definition says one continuous motion swung back and forth. I don't argue with Webster's dictionary unless I'm trying to add a word to the dictionary, which is hard to do. So we talk about the word swing, and my best analogy is a swing set. It's one of the most truest swinging things on the planet, and a lot of people either have one or know what it is. And how you explain it in relation to a swing set is you want to swing all three parts of the golf club, the grip, the shaft, and the head. And you want to swing it back and forward in a continuous motion, just like the definition of the word. There's no stops, there's no pauses. All there is a change of direction accordingly to the size and speed of swing that your brain has chosen for the shot, whether it be a short shot, a chip, or a full swing. My brain just told my body what size swing to make, and then I focused on trying to create a swing. The third part is understanding the human body, how it moves, and what creates it to move. Our body parts will move different every time we use them. They never will move identical. They'll move similar, but never identical. If you give the body a certain command, it will follow it. If you give it a specific command, it may follow it too specific. So when I want to move this golf club, my brain will send the message down the nervous system, which will activate what body parts that I want to move, or which ones I'm focusing on in my golf swing. Then I will let that move, and as I swing the golf club forward, I want to be focusing on swinging the tool in my hand. Swinging a golf club should be very simple, just as simple as swinging a hammer. We don't think about our arm position and everything when we're swinging the hammer. We're focusing on swinging the tool in our hand. And in golf, this is our tool, not this one, unless you're in some real deep rough. Okay, as you guys can see, I have a very interesting club here. I have two club heads here. It signifies they're both on the line, they're both in the same alignment on the club. Now when I swing the golf club, I want to make sure that I return the entire club to square. I'm not just swinging the head or just the grip. I want to make sure that I swing the club in its entirety. This way I can get a true swinging motion. Okay, because go back to what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a swing with a tool in our hand. So this club here is a visual training aid, and what it does is it lets me know if I've got the whole club to square. Okay, these would be wrong, and these will tell you that they're wrong. When I get the whole club back to square, both heads will be lined up properly just like that. Also, when you're checking spots in your swing, if somebody's having a hard time, whether they're laid off or they're too closed, when you focus on getting one toe up, some people struggle with that, but if you see this other toe of the club there, not only does that give them a better relationship with their brain, but it also gives them a better relationship with where that hand position is. That's why this club head is there, to kind of help students with that. And same thing as they swing forward and their forearms rotate. Now with that rotation, you can see the toes are both pointing up. If I lack rotation with my forearm, now the toes are pointing that way, and if you track that backwards, that club face is open at impact. Now go back to, if you give your body a specific command, if you're having a hard time getting that club square at impact, and you tell yourself, the one term a lot of people use is release, or rotate your forearms, which to me is the proper command. Be careful, listen to what the command you're giving your body. There is a chance you're going to overdo it. If I tell my forearms to rotate, there's a good chance they may rotate too much. Now we have closed the club face and hook it. You have to allow the rotation with the weight of the club to happen. I tell everyone to sum up a golf swing in a nutshell, once you've gotten your position and the rules and the principles of the setup are all in place, once you've swung the club to there and you're ready to start swinging forward, you've done your job, you need to stay out of the way. In other words, you need to swing this tool forward and let your body move with the motion you're creating with your arms. Okay, now that we've talked about my swing philosophy and how it applies, now there's some rules and laws and principles of the golf setup prior to us creating that swing that we have to keep in mind. We go to the setup. I go functional versus non-functional. There is no perfect grip. There's a functional grip and a non-functional. Once again, you go back to the individual student and how their body moves. Some people's body may move a little different. Now, what I like to do is I like to make sure that my golf swing's functional, so when I do take my grip, I want to make sure that balance is a key that I focus on. And I try to keep my palms facing each other, and this thumb right here is very important because I want it on the left side of the club. And we'll talk about how it affects the body here in a minute. Now, once I do that, I hold the club like this, and I should be able to tip it like that. I need that hinge in my swing. Okay, as it changes directions, I need that hinge at the top of the back of my swing. Now, back to this thumb here. If you'll notice, if you look at my forearm, when the thumb goes here, that forearm turns open. And when I want to swing, when I swing forward, that forearm's going to want to return to its natural state, which is here for me, which closes the club face at impact. So by having the thumb here, now my forearm will be at its proper alignment at impact just because that thumb's on the correct side of the club. Okay, if it's up here, you can see when I move my thumb, my forearm moves. Okay, I want that top line of my forearm, those bones there, to be facing up just like they would if I was standing like this. My top lines are there. So I want to grab it so that my top lines are there. That way when I swing forward, everything comes back to its natural state. Okay. Now, as for the setup and posture-wise, once again, for you to commit to a swing in your mind of swinging the tool, I want you to be comfortable. Now, there is comfortable non-functional and there's comfortable functional. If you're very comfortable like this, this might be a little non-functional. I'm not saying you can't swing a golf club from here, but your margin of error is a lot smaller than more traditional stances. You can, but I'd be cautious of a big hook. So what you want to do is you want to take your stance. If you're taking a full swing, this is a 6-iron. If you're taking a full swing of the 6-iron, you're going to want to take your stance slightly shoulder width apart, hold your club out and bend at your hip sockets and tip your butt back a little and set the club on the ground as natural as possible. That is a functional position for me right now. Now, one little thing that I do to make it comfortable is I flex my knees. Now I'm very comfortable. Okay, now it's functional because there's not a lot of excess movement that I have to do to create this circular swing around my center. Okay, if I was standing like this, well, now my body's going to limit how I create a swing with my arms. So we want to make sure that it's functional versus non-functional. So now that I'm here, my arms are hanging naturally here. That's why I'm more comfortable. I don't want to stand like this because I'm pretty sure this doesn't look too comfortable. So I want to stand right here where it's comfortable. Now when I send the message from my brain to the proper body parts, which is my upper torso and arms, to swing the club, I swing the club in its entirety. Go back to all three parts of the club. I swing the club in its entirety. My forearm starts to rotate because it's a circle. It goes up over my shoulder. Now from here, once again, you have 1.6 seconds to take a swing, and that's all you need to think. Swing the club in the direction that you want the white thing to fly, all the way through to a finish. And my focus is always on swinging the club at the target. I like the term swing line versus target. Go back to physics. When I swing my club, I want to focus on the club going to a certain swing line. If I do that, I have a good chance the little white thing's going to wind up there. When I go to the range, I don't go to the range to hit balls. I go to the range to swing golf clubs because that's my job in golf. It's not to hit balls. Hitting a ball is a reaction to what you do with the tool in your hand. Now, when I go to the range to swing the golf club, I focus on swinging my club at a target. Okay? We make sure that we focus on swinging the club at the target. Tune into the Golf Channel to make more shots just like that. And now for a quick tip on a slight uphill lie. The most common mistake that I see is that a lot of people will take their stance, a lot of amateurs take their stance and they have their shoulders pointing down into the mound. There's not enough room for the swing to go through. What we want to do is we want to set our stance so that the shoulders and the ground are both parallel and they run on the same angle. I also want to make sure I club up a little so I don't take a full swing. So I'm going to club up the next club to keep my balance better. And then I'm going to set my shoulders on the same line as that hill, which will allow me to swing up the hill. Tune into the Golf Channel for more tips like that.